Hey guys, this is going to be my review of the second episode of Devs, the new Alex Garland show from FX. And yeah, I'm going to get straight into it, full spoilers from the beginning. And once again, it's fair to say then the best stuff in the episode, the most interesting was the stuff at Devs itself, the stuff with Forrest and the rest of those characters. Um, and there's again some tremendous visual moments in this episode, and the overall mystery is very intriguing, very effective, and you get some more reveals in this episode which I think work really well and are quite meaty. Once again, the weakest stuff is the Lily side, with her actually involved in the drama, and so that hasn't really improved, although it's part of obviously the overall plot which I'm liking. But yeah, still a couple of like kind of doubts or question marks, but again, another good episode, and I really like the world that has been like put forward and some of the ideas. And there's a couple of sort of big reveals in this episode. Now, the start of the episode is really interesting because we get like this collage of things happening, and it's the various members of Devs really. So we get shots of different things happening. So there's a shot of someone being like wrestled in like a parking garage, and they appear to be like being forced into a boot or something of a car. And then we cut to Forrest banging on the table like in frustration. So yeah, you get like this mixture of shots that I think are going to come together over the course of the episode. So it's done in quite a non-linear sort of way. And but yeah, it does make you question. It makes you think, what does this all mean, kind of thing. Because when I saw the person, like the two people wrestling in the parking garage, I thought, well, does that have something to do with how they've staged, for, Sergei being killed, or killing himself, I should say. But actually, the first reveal of the episode is that Forrest had a daughter, and that she was kidnapped, whatever it was, a few years ago. And he's relaying this story to Lily. I think, as a way to try and comfort her, he's opening up about his daughter and just trying to reassure her things do get better, and there is hope. And of course, we all know this is a very sinister sort of ploy. But again, in this episode with Forrest, I think what makes him such an intriguing character is then this stuff is played so straight. I think there's a side of him then sort of, well, either that he believes it, or then he's doing it from like an honest sort of place. But then I think it's just the twist that he is using it to manipulate her, or she is being manipulated by it, potentially, is what gives it that sort of more villainous sort of air. But anyway, he reassures Lily that her job is safe, she has financial security, and that she can take as much time off as she wants. And of course, with them trying to cover their tracks and trying not to have their secret exposed, that of course suits them in any case. But of course, Lily is not going to give up. But yeah, that reveal of Forrest's daughter was very sort of interesting. because it pops up over the course of the episode. At one point, you've got the security guy played by Zach Garren, I think that's his name. Really good actor. He has popped up in a few things, but I know him mostly from The Good Wife, like the later seasons of that. He's really good, actually. I think he was in the RoboCop like remake reboot as well. Always good at playing like very slimy type characters, but he again is on good form in this, and he gets his role opens up in this episode. But there's a scene where he's talking to Forrest about all this, and he's suggesting Forrest hasn't got over the past with the daughter, and that is crowding his judgment when it comes to Lily. And I think it's his subtle way of kind of prodding him in the direction he wants him to go, and that is to take, bigger action over what's happening with Lily. But again, it's this in between place with Forrest. It's very interesting because he seems to be, as I said, there's a side of him that I think believes this stuff. And another like powerful scene with Forrest is then at Devs that they do like this recreation. And I'll talk about what they do in a minute, but at one point Forrest asks them to like leave him alone in the room. And we see then there's a recreation of his daughter like just on her own, like in the bedroom, like playing with something, and just him watching that is just a really beautiful moment. I think Nick Offerman and just his facial expressions and just the tone of the scene, it's really sort of touching. So this episode really opens that character up, and as murky as he is, as sinister as he is, you do get some like more sympathetic type beats. But then of course that brings into question how he can really do this sort of stuff given his past and losing his daughter. And the other big reveal is that Sergei was a spy. He was a Russian spy, which Lily didn't know. And she finds out that because she goes once again to the ex-boyfriend, Jamie, his name is. And again, I'm not again, the scenes between them aren't very good. And I think also the actor playing Jamie isn't very good. So that's another actor who maybe could have been cast a bit better. I mean, who knows, if he's given more to do, maybe he'll step up sort of thing, or he'll have more of a role. But she goes to him again, and she's like, she's a lot more sympathetic to him, but she's also very direct, because she kind of says, I'm really sorry, then we split up, and I'm sorry that it hurt you. It hurt me too, and there will come a time when we can talk this through, but for now I just need you to listen. I need you to help me. And obviously when she tells him about Sergei and seeing the video of him killing himself, that's when things change, and Jamie is kind of shocked into sort of doing it, into helping her. And she shows him like the Sudoku, which she doesn't think is a Sudoku, and it's password protected, which is like obviously a tip off. And so he decodes it and says that you're right, it's not Sudoku. but it's basically a Russian website. It's to do with like the Russian government, and the sort of files he sees seems to indicate then Sergei was in fact a Russian spy. So he lets Lily take like the data with her on her phone so that she can try and track it herself. And she gets a name, she gets a contact, and he responds and says basically meet me at a bridge, and she agrees, and then as soon as she's agreed, the data is deleted from the phone. And I really like this part of the episode. I really like the mood of it, like the industrial sound as this data disappears and as it cuts to the scene on the bridge. It's a brilliant, like, sort of, as I said, very sort of industrial, very yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It just had this really rumbling sort of echo to it. Really effective use of sound. And so they meet on the bridge. And this actor again, I recognise now. The character's name is Anton, and he is like one of the Russian agents, or at least one of the superiors. And the actor I recognise, and I'm pretty sure it's an American actor because his Russian accent isn't very good. So the actor I quite like, but I've got to pick fault with the Russian accent. But anyway, he goes by the name Anton at least, and he questions if Sergei is really, well, not is he really dead, but did he really commit suicide? And says to him, no, I think he was killed, and they're covering. And he confirms to Lily, yes, he's a Russian agent. And basically his theory is then he tried to infiltrate devs, and something went wrong and he was killed, which we know is true. The only thing we didn't know is that he was a Russian agent and that he was trying to infiltrate. So yeah, pretty big reveal. And Lily is obviously unsure whether to trust Anton, but he says he actually tries to recruit Lily. That's the next like sort of big part, and tries to get her to go inside to like finish the work, and she's really not sure. And he says to leave him a message like in a window if she like wants to do it. So he goes away, but then we see I think it's Caton, the security guy, is actually watching, and he's actually got some like just funny sort of lines, because we see him like watching, and as he walks away he says something like, oh, this is just all we like fucking need, or something like that, and it's just the delivery of it that makes it so funny. But yeah, then he starts following Anton and confronts him, and it's really interesting scene. This is actually the scene we saw a clip of at the start of the episode in the parking lot with the two guys fighting. So that's Anton and Caton. And again, some really interesting character stuff, because when Caton like approaches him, he kind of makes out. He says, I know that you're now trying to recruit Lily, but she's just a young girl, and a grieving girl. Why are you taking advantage of her? And then Anton reverses it and kind of says, yeah, that's just like American double talk because you're not really concerned for her. You're only really concerned about pardon your end and about yeah, her not getting inside, basically keeping your secret. And it's interesting because Catum actually calls him by a different name, that being Anton. I forget which name, but when he approaches him, he calls him a different name. And later on, before they start fighting, Anton calls him Joe. So there's this idea of these people with like these hidden identities and which is the real name sort of thing. So that's a nice little like turn. And they start fighting and again, like most things in this show, like most of the big moments, it's very kind of surreal and dreamlike, and you get like this particular bit of music played over the top of it, and it cuts between this and other scenes. But it's a proper form fight, and for a while it like Anton has the upper hand and it looks like he's gonna win, but eventually Caton slash Joe wins out, and that's kind of the last shot of the episode. And actually, we see Lily leave a sign that says "fuck you" outside. Now, I wasn't actually sure if that's what he asked it to confirm, or if that was like literally her telling him "fuck you." But I think the significance is that she was willing to give it a go because she obviously wants to get to the bottom of this. So she leaves the sign, but obviously the twist is he's not there to see it because he eventually is killed by Caton. So, and just before I go, I should say the other like the creation in devs is then you get a couple of new characters. You get a younger guy, a much younger tech, and then you get this character Stuart, who's like this more kind of off the wall, like older sort of tech, and they're working on again a simulation, but a time jump that goes like centuries, back centuries basically, and they have this funny sort of conversation about like culture and politics, and Stuart, I think his name was Stuart, basically accuses the younger guy of not understanding like culture and music, and because he doesn't understand those things, he can't understand politics basically, and he accuses him of because they have a go at each other's like generations, and he accuses the younger guy of his generation just being about like, and he uses the term woke, but just being about like politics and just being about like protesting, if you like, rather than anything else. And I don't know what it means thematic wise, but it's just an interesting back and forth. But anyway, they come up with like this simulation, and it's going all the way back to Jesus on the cross basically. And Katie's there; she's like overseeing this, and again, it just gets across the ambitions of devs, but also how critical they are and how they just strive for the best, because even though they've come up with this time jump of like centuries and centuries, it's not enough, and Katie just calls it like a fuzzy projection because it is a crackering sort of screen, and yeah, the quality isn't there, even though it's impressive. Then they have gone this far back. It's like Jesus on a cross, but sort of interesting because obviously depending on if you're religious, you may not believe that story, but so it's kind of saying then these people are maybe religious, or we're certainly saying a world where religion is a thing, and I think there was like signs of that in the first episode. But this again was another really visually striking scene. Um, yeah, great stuff once again. Another good episode. So far so good. I obviously have doubts over Lily, her character, and some of the drama involving her. But yeah, at the moment I'm really on board. I mean, there's enough good stuff, and I thought the developments in this episode was added some good stuff as well. So yeah, it's a really well directed show as you would expect, and it's the mystery as well. I think is hooking me. So far so good for Devs. That's episode 2, and I will return with an episode 3 review soon. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Contact me on Twitter if you like. And speaking of big TV shows, I should say then this week Killing Eve returned for the 3rd season, and you can find my first review of that up now on the channel, and obviously I'll continue with that week, one episode per week. So if you're a Killing Eve fan, then you can check out my thoughts on the first episode of season 3. But I'll see you guys again soon. Goodbye.